Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which we find out how education is supposed to benefit us all through student perspectives, which are being suppressed or celebrated. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the wonderful world of Saturday. Scintillating Saturday. Yes, we're here once again. This time to find out about education. And this time, in a relatively rare event, to listen to a talk from a figure that I have done a video on before. At least ostensibly. The link to the video is in the description for those of you watching in the future. You might want to watch that one first, just to have a little bit of information on some background on our speaker. But as a capsule summary for those of you that don't have the time to watch the video, I will get to that as soon as I say hello to those who have decided to join me this morning. Raziel, hello. Keeverdam, hello. Quinn the Cultist, hello. Zalbla, hello. Scientrology, hello. Debatefly, hello. Asian Hippie, hello. Did I already say hello to Asian Hippie? No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry, my brain's still waking up a little bit. It's a different time of day for me for doing this. Gunfox61, hello. Black Belt for Christ, hello. Killer Turnist, hello. Up North Steve, hello. Mike Savage, Blard. Megan Ring, hello. Crimson Tiger, hello. Tux Mint, hello. And I think that's everybody at present. So yeah, it's a different, little earlier in the day today for this broadcast versus other days. I'd gotten ready to do something completely different, changed my mind, was still in the mood to do something, so here we are. But anyway, our speaker today is one Richard Carranza, and Richard Carranza is the chancellor for the New York Education Board, or the New York, let me make sure I have his title correct, chancellor of the Department of Education, New York's Department of Education. So why is Richard Carranza an interesting character? Well, about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, a story came out, and you can find the link to this in that other video that I linked over there in the description. School's Chancellor Richard Carranza accused of demoting admins because they were white. There's a whole little scandal going on about some kind of racial purge at the New York Department of Education. And in addition to that, Richard Carranza also went on a bit of a spending spree, as is detailed in that other video, where he was very interested in giving a lot of money to a couple of very questionable people/organizations to improve the education system in New York through courageous conversations and discussions of racial justice. Again, a lot more detail goes into this in the video, in the description. But when I saw this just the other day, and this TED Talk isn't, or TED Ed Talk, isn't recent in the sense that it just happened, but I only just spotted it the other day. I thought, Richard Carranza, I know that name, but I've never actually heard from him. The video I did profiled the story on him, and then it profiled the two individuals/organizations that he was giving almost $1 million to, but I never actually heard from him himself. So I thought it might be interesting to take a little bit of a step back in time and find out what the Chancellor of New York Department of Education has to say about celebrating or suppressing student perspectives, whatever that means. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people and scribbles. Hello, Kyle. This is a relatively short TEDx, only coming in at just under 8 minutes, so a little bite-size presentation for the weekend. Be sure to have your bingo card ready. Link to that is in the description. I am intending to switch out the toxic square for something else soon, and then probably do another reshuffle. I may also take Monkey's advice and just have a set of multiple shuffled cards at hand any particular day and just randomly pick one for a show. And yeah, so that's all that. But all that being said, let's start off with a few seconds for sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear this, and then we will proceed.
So I am so thrilled to be in New York City.
I'm sure you are thrilled to be in New York City, since, as far as I know, that is the location of your job and your responsibilities and where your paycheck comes from. So, sounds good, says Asian Hippie. Sounds good, says Gun Fox. Maybe Scribe secretly a bird. I obviously missed something in this. Kieverdam says, I know Glenn Singleton. Blah. You know Glenn Singleton, like personally? That's got to be an adventure. Yeah, just watching his video on Courageous Conversations. Oh boy. Oh boy, that was exciting. Scribe, I take it it's improved. Improved? I missed something. I've obviously missed something. Because you're early. Oh, because I'm early today. Oh, I see. I see. Well, I apologize for throwing off anybody's schedule, but I was going to do a drive-in theater stream, but that kind of fell apart when I started reading the reviews of the movie I'd chosen. So anyway, sounds good. Let's go. Let's go. Hello. Let's go.
But you see, I wasn't born in New York City.
Oh, my God.
I'm from Tucson, Arizona. And for those of you that don't know where Tucson, Arizona is,
you failed geography.
Or what it is.
You don't understand city names?
Let me just say it's hot.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. Okay.
It's really hot.
Yeah, okay.
But it's close to the Mexican-United States border. And I'm very proud that my grandparents immigrated to the United States and became United States citizens. I'm equally proud that I have a brother. And I'm very proud of my brother. You see...
Okay, well, I'm already going to go into childhood or family anecdote because he's talking about that now. Free space. And where did I put there? Childhood or family anecdote on the card. Okay. So you're not from New York. You're from Tucson, Arizona. Your grandparents became citizens, and you have a brother. Great.
He's not only my brother, he's my womb mate. We're identical twins.
Okay.
And while I'm 4 minutes older than him, and he still asks for corroboration.
Oh, Lexi Mads, I am here. Oh, thank God. I didn't know if I could go on without you here, Lexi. But now we can continue. Do I need to rewind and back up? Do I need to start over again? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry, that's not going to do it. Okay, anyway, he's womb mates with his brother, twin brother. He's 4 minutes older. Okay.
And evidence. He is my best friend. We were born together.
Yeah, that's the whole identical twin thing.
We live together.
I would hope so.
We are both the sons of a sheet metal worker and a hairdresser in Tucson, Arizona.
Well, if you were both sons to different people, yet being identical twins, I would love to see that sci-fi movie.
And I'm very proud of my family.
Great.
And may Simone and Dolores rest in peace. They taught Ruben and I we would always have each other.
Great.
And we had each other.
Yes.
We had our own language. We played together.
Yes.
We couldn't be apart from each other. All these years later, even now, we speak or text every single day.
Wow, my heart is bleeding for you and the love with your brother. That's great. And
there's not a moment that I don't feel that I need to call him, and I'll call him and he'll say, I'm glad you called. I'm going through a situation.
You know, it almost sounds a little codependent. Are you sure that's healthy?
Or that I will say, Ruben, I need to talk to you, and he drops everything and calls me. You see, we are intimately close. And going through high school and going through school, we were the best of friends. Great. I get it. I think you've proven to us. Okay, and we're in the same clubs, and when he would run for student government, I'd run for the office above it just to show him that I'm going to challenge him. We know everything about each other. And as we went through life and we grew up,
yes,
and we eventually graduated from high school and we went our separate ways.
Yes.
Ruben decided that he was going to go to California right after college. And
California.
He was going to pursue a business endeavor. And I decided I was going to stay in Tucson, Arizona, and I was happy as a teacher, and I was teaching.
Yeah, okay.
And we would always come together, although we spoke almost every day.
Yeah.
We would always come together for the holidays with our family. And
Whoa, wow. I'm on the edge of my seat. Oh God.
See, we had a big extended family, and we had aunts and uncles and cousins.
Oh, did you have nieces and nephews and
cousins of cousins and cousins of the cousins? And a simple Sunday gathering always turned into a barbecue with all the uncles, and the guitars would come out, and we would sing, and we would eat, and we would laugh.
The Chancellor of the Department of Education, everyone.
But it was a very traditional home.
Oh, what does that mean? Now we get past all that, and now we get to very intentional language. Okay. Traditional home. Such as?
Very traditional home.
Yeah.
And as Ruben went away, and we would always come back together during those holidays, it was always a joyous occasion. It was always family.
Yeah.
Except for the one year where Ruben said to me, Richard,
yes,
I want to see you, and I don't want to see anyone else.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And
he said, let's go to dinner. Absolutely. I don't miss many dinners.
What, am I supposed to comment on your weight now? All right. We are 3 minutes into an 8-minute presentation, and we haven't gotten past him and his brother loving each other. Lordy.
So I said, let's go to dinner. So we went to dinner. And we had our usual conversation, and we were getting together. We were talking about what was happening. And then Ruben said to me as he paused in the conversation,
I've got a dead hooker in my trunk. Oh God, I hope it's not something like I've got cancer, or I don't know. What?
Ruben said to me, Richard, I have something to tell you. And he said, I'm gay.
Okay. And was that why you brought up the word traditional earlier? Because this would be a conflict in your family, etc. Is that where we're going with this?
And at that instant, I was simultaneously both happy because a whole lot of things now made sense.
Okay. Like what?
And I was absolutely mortified. I was mortified that my best friend, my womb-mate, the person that I knew the best, the person that I spoke to every single day, the person that I shared mischief and academic achievement with through all of our school years, the person I thought I knew the best, I didn't really know at all. And what pained me was that I realized the pain that he must have gone through. All of those years not being able to be his truest self.
Okay. Now, there is a truth there. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to belittle it. Okay. I have known people, and I have heard plenty of stories, both directly and people that I've known and so on, of the cost of having to make this known to a family that is not accepting of such ideas. So I get it. Okay. We're all building up to you loving your brother, being so connected and so on, but you had no idea that your brother had this secret. Okay. All right. You didn't need to build it up that much, but all right.
Even with his best friend.
Yes.
All of those opportunities that we missed to make meaning. And the sheer terror that he must have felt, not knowing if his best friend was going to accept him after that declarative moment.
Okay. All the other fluff aside, fine. accepted, stipulated. And then?
So I was both happy and I was sad. And from that day forward, I vowed that we must create the environments in our schools so that other Rubens don't have that kind of insecurity.
Keeverdam says, does him rattling off all his relatives count as a list? We'll talk about that once we're done with this. He's still got half-ish of his presentation, a little less now. Maybe he'll give us a chart or something. But let's back up a second. So you, as head of the Department of Education in New York, want to establish environments in schools so that other Rubens don't have to feel like that. I don't think it's in school where the fear of coming out is the biggest concern for a kid. And is it the place of the schools to be, I don't know, bringing these issues of sexuality up in this way? I mean, don't get me wrong, sex education, for the sake of teaching kids the risks and rewards, therefore, of sexual intercourse or to prevent unwanted pregnancy and so on is one thing. But, okay, how do you intend to do this? Or what is your philosophy on this, then, in schools? And is it the school's place to be dealing with these issues?
I will tell you, there are many Rubens in the New York City public schools, as there are in schools across America. In fact, Tatiana, who is a student, a trans student, that left her abusive home in the Midwest with only the money for a bus ticket and is now living in a teen shelter in the Bronx.
That doesn't sound... Well, I mean, if she's away from an abusive situation, fine. But what's that got to do with you? Thank you, Redneck Ram. Why should a school have anything to do with the fear of coming out to family? I mean, okay. This is where I'm kind of torn on this subject, because if you have a kid who is struggling with this situation, and they're in a household that is abusive and or likely to be not a healthy or have a healthy reaction to such a revelation, where does a kid go? Where does a kid go for advice, for support, for anything, right? I mean, there is a place for schools and other adults and part of your sort of network growing up for that kind of resource. So I'm not gonna immediately dismiss the utility of having an outlet or a place where kids can go if home isn't the immediate safe place, right? Now, I also hope, fingers crossed, that given the changes in our society and our laws in the last several years, it's not nearly as much of an obstacle today as it was, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago and back. So I'm not going to dismiss entirely the role that schools and or school counselors and or teachers may have in these situations. I want to know from our speaker what it is he's proposing and or what policies he endorses in this effort. And also, what the example of this girl has to do with any of it.
And going to school, you see she has no family except for the family that is school.
That's a sad statement. Okay, what did that have to do with Ruben coming out? I mean, she left her family and ended up where she is because she came out. So what does that have to do with it? That's going to be weightless example here in a second.
For that student, school isn't just somewhere you go. It is who you feel. It's who you relate to. It is your family.
Yes, but isn't her situation relatively unique? I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of detached kids out there that have no other social group and no other source of support than perhaps school or community programs and things like that. They exist, but isn't she an exception more than the rule? Most kids have a home. Most kids have a family. Most kids are not relying upon the school to act as family. So, again, what does this have to do with your brother coming out to you at an adult age?
And I'm very, very proud that in the New York City public schools, we don't discount those experiences of our students.
What does that mean? And what accusation are you leveling against other school districts or other school organizations?
An Ohio State researcher named Rudine Sims Bishop has talked about how we need to look at curriculum through windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors.
Ooh, fancy metaphor. We need to look at curriculum through windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors. You have 2 minutes and 16 seconds to tell me what that means and how any of this connects one to the other.
You see, what the professor says is that curriculum should be like the window that our students can look out of, and that our students can look out into a world and see things that they haven't seen before. You see, the curriculum should be reflective of that.
The curriculum should be reflective of things students have not seen before. Well, given that students presumably are coming to school to learn, and learn to a great degree is at least predicated on the notion that you already don't know something, then yes, a curriculum is a window onto things that they've never seen before. Wow, that's taking some common sense and putting it in fancy metaphor. You got anything else?
But yet the curriculum should also be a mirror by which our students can look at themselves and understand who they are. And as they understand who they are, they gain meaning to look out that window and understand who others are.
It is not the place of the schools to teach kids who they are. That's for kids to figure out on their own. Schools are there to teach kids how to think, not what to think. Self-discovery, enrichment and everything else, that comes, there's a particular word in there that you should pay attention to. It's called self. I get very, very cagey when I hear teachers and educators seemingly take on the role of the person who is going to guide a student into their own identity. Very cagey about that. Very cagey.
But that curriculum should also be the sliding glass door. And that sliding glass door that our students can slide and navigate through an empathetic approach and understand who others are and what their reality is.
Again, I'm not quite sure I know what that means, but at the same time, how would you affect that? How would you affect that in the curriculum? There's not enough time left in his presentation here that he's going to tell us anything substantive. All right, Bear. But I am dying to know in detail how that is supposed to be implemented. So maybe I'll try to find an article or something by this professor that he mentioned that talked about these metaphors to get a better idea of what exactly we're talking about here. But okay, windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors. And then?
I wish my brother would have had a window and a mirror and a sliding glass door.
What would that have done to change his mind about coming out to a traditional family, as you so very intentionally underlined in your description of your family gatherings? What would have happened? I'm not saying it's impossible that something could have changed, okay, but how would having the window, mirror, sliding door construct or whatever it is present in your brother's life have changed his circumstances? How?
But it is our goal in New York City that we will have our students have not only the window and the mirror and the sliding glass door, but that we will celebrate who they are. In fact, I'm very proud that in our 1,800 schools, 1.1 million students, we have a growing movement in New York City where we recognize the value of all students.
We recognize the value of all students. Now, let me tell you about a specific demographic of students that deserves more of our attention than any other. Okay.
And the beauty of who they are and what they contribute to our society. In fact, some of our students are going to visit Stonewall.
Oh, wow. Wow. And
the iconic location in the 1970s. And well, no, we're not going to let them sit at the bar and drink.
No, we're just going to talk about sexual intercourse and sexuality. Students. Yeah.
They're going to be steeped in this history, the history that is our history, not as New Yorkers, not as Americans, but as citizens of the world.
What?
So I ask us, as we commit ourselves to supporting all of our students, as we move away from the labels of who students are and what we think they are, and as we look through that window and reflect in the mirror and move those sliding glass doors.
No, you're not celebrating all students. You're celebrating a specific demographic of students right now. Do you really cherish the experiences of all students? Or are you valuing some students as more important on the basis of a non-determinative factor of their makeup? Are you looking upon such a demographic as needing special help because they are inherently, I don't know, incapable of handling it themselves or something else? And don't get me wrong, I know students, kids, if they're not getting any support at home, they need support somewhere. This is why I'm torn in some of the messages he's sending here, because I understand it on one hand, but I also see it as a bit hypocritical on the other.
I only ask that for a little boy like Ruben, a trans student named Tatiana, and the millions of students in our schools, that we create the environment that they all can be who they are, free of any kind of judgment, but full of the love of loving educators. Thank you.
A standing ovation. I think that lady dropped her purse. Did she just drop her purse? I think she did. Hold on. This is how exciting this was for me. Okay, watch the lady in the pink in the front here as she stands up. Yep, she dropped her phone. And I think he was stopping himself from going to pick it up. Okay, well, that was nice of him. Thank you, Andrew James, who says, thanks. Well, you're welcome. And thank you, Redneck Ram. In other words, he wants to push his specific agenda, thus making being gay a thing only cool kids are. I don't like this blatant pushing one way. I'm just... I don't even know what to say. Like I said, some of the things he's talking about, okay, I can see that. I can see when you send your kids off to school every day, that if there is and this doesn't just go for kids who are struggling with their sense of sexuality or anything else, but in general, what do we tell kids? If something's happening at home, like let's imagine something completely different, just abuse in the home, right? A drunken parent, okay? Where's a kid supposed to go for help or for guidance or for anything, if not the home? If the home is not a safe place in our society, where do we see other places for kids to go? School, sure. Your teacher, your counselor, another adult, right? When something's wrong, find an adult. That's what we tell kids. That's the kind of thing. Okay, admittedly. So if you have a kid who I'm hoping in their mid to late teens, and not earlier for obvious reasons, is struggling with this sensation, this realization of themselves, and they don't feel secure in talking about it at home, or they're not sure what to do if they know that their parents or their family would disapprove or something, where are they to go? Okay. having some kind of education, having some kind of facility available to kids to be able to express these things or ask for help regarding these things makes perfect sense to me. I'm not going to deny that. Okay. But what did this have to do with that? What exactly was he proposing? I don't know. Does your curriculum do X, Y, Z, PDQ? Well, your example of Tatiana had nothing to do with curriculum. You didn't talk about the school lessons that she was being put through. You just said that, well, she's in a school where they're very accepting of her and she's in a teen shelter. Like, okay, what does that got to do with the curriculum? How should the curriculum be different for Tatiana versus any other student who is not Tatiana, just to facilitate Tatiana's comfort over anybody else's? What does that mean? What would any of this have done for your brother? I mean, you weren't talking about increasing counseling resources or anything else at the school for someone in your brother's situation to have an outlet or have someone to talk to. You didn't even give us any specifics at all. So what does any of it mean? That being the case, let's go over, as soon as we already have, because it's been a relatively, like I said, short and very nothing kind of presentation. But all right. So bingo card, here's where we're at. We have free space and childhood to family anecdote. Let's go through the card. Marginalized marginalization. Yeah, he was talking about a very specific demographic in that one. So I'm gonna circle that one. Takes credit for something done, experienced by others in their demographic. No. Leaves out vital context. Yes. What the heck does it mean to have a window, mirror, sliding door? I don't know what that means. Feminism, no. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. No, I don't think you ever got to that point. Anecdote that probably never happened. I don't disbelieve his story about his brother. I don't disbelieve the story about Tatiana. So yeah, no, not there. Contradicts own point or argument. Let me sit on that for a second because I'm kind of tossing two things together. Toxic, no. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase, no. Plays victim, no. Word salad, no. I don't think so. Mind reading assumes motives. Mind reading assumes motives. I guess when he said something effective like in the New York Department of Education, we are XYZ PDQ, he's implying that other people aren't or are worse or something. So I'm going to circle that one. Benevolent condescension. Yeah, a little bit there. Like, okay, so this specific demographic of students needs special help, special attention, a special note to curriculum because otherwise... Why? I guess a list. Well, the windows, mirrors, and doors was a list, such as it was. It was a functional list. So I'm circling that one. Patriarchy, no. Wage gap, no. Systemic, institutional. I mean, he talked about school systems and how they did this and didn't do that. So yeah, I'm circling that one. Privilege, no. Self-vilification or wretchedness, no. Equity. I guess it was implied, sort of. Weightless example. Tatiana and his brother, both weightless examples for the whole curriculum thing. What would the curriculum have done for either of their situations? Either his brother coming out when he did, or earlier, and a girl who'd already run away from home because of abuse in the household to find a school somewhere. What the heck does curriculum have to do with that? Thank you, Jago Dragon. What I got from this was my twin brother moved to California and it turned him gay. Yeah. Well, I guess whatever you take from it. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. No, I mean, he never really dwelled on anything racial. And his stories were relevant to a certain extent. I mean, he didn't quite get as specific as I thought he might with the whole traditional household thing. I think that was about as close as he got to suggesting that his brother was in some kind of familial potential danger of being ostracized. And white supremacy, no, surprisingly enough, given it's who it was. Okay, so there's what the card looks like right now. I am open to arguments for several things. Now, obviously, word salad, I didn't feel like he was saying anything I didn't understand. So if you have an example or an argument for word salad, okay. Toxic, again, that's one of the squares that I'm thinking of replacing. But if you got an argument for toxic, those are our only two options here for a bingo. So I'll go to the chat now. Let's see. Gieverno says, "Wow, we went from just 2 spaces to almost a bingo." Yeah, I know. I was being very generous in a couple of those. I don't think too much, but now that we're down to the nitty gritty, I'm gonna need some good arguments. Otherwise, Ryan, curse you, YouTube! You just now tell me the stream was rigged from the start. Scribelight, why must you anger the digital gods? Look, follow me on Twitter. If you have Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I always broadcast, or at least, post these things an hour or two or more ahead of time. I don't trust YouTube to alert people. Even if you subscribe, even if you hit the bell and onward and say notifications on, YouTube is sketchy like that. I mean, please, by all means, hit the bell, subscribe, do all the stuff that they tell you to do, just on the off chance it works. But the more reliable place is probably on my Twitter. Mike Savage, window, mirror, glass sliding door, word salad to me, Scribelight. Of all the stuff that he listed there, the sliding door one was probably the one that didn't make any sense to me. The window, I could kind of see it, right? The mirror, even though his explanation was ridiculous, I could see it. The sliding glass doors? I mean, now I already circled leaves out vital context for that because he didn't explain what that meant. Does that also qualify as word salad at the same time? No Name says, oof, gotta go now. Bye, No Name. Kieverdam says, equity because all students. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was a lot implied there about treating all students the same and having, same outcomes and so on. So it doesn't harm anything, so to speak, to do so. So I'll circle equity. Sure. He was talking up that notion. Mike Savage says, not toxic, Scribelight. No, I know it's not toxic. The word salad part, I don't know. Is there another example of word salad? Because the sliding glass door thing, I admit it makes no sense because he didn't explain it. That's not necessarily a word salad. Just saying a bunch of things that don't link together. I mean, everything he said made sense. He talked about his brother. He talked about his family. He talked about his meeting with his brother. He talked about Tatiana. Like, everything made sense. Some things lacked context. Jim Healy says, not word salad. Yeah, like I say, it's a bewildering example when you're not going to tell us what it means, but it's not word salad. I can't tell if it's word salad because he didn't explain it or try to. Gunfox, Scribelight, word salad, his talk about the dinners. No, that was just a really long, drawn-out story. He could have told that story in half the time that he took. Faithless says, those are all portals to view through, Scribelight. No, I get it, sort of. Like I said, the window one, I get. The mirror one, okay. But the sliding glass doors to understand others? What? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Pincalo, is the sliding glass door supposed to be a tangent from the glass door project in which minorities can see what they want, but the door is locked because privilege potato? Oh, so like a glass ceiling, but on the x-axis, right? Is that it? A sliding glass door. I don't know. I think we might miss a bingo on this one, guys, because I can't think of a word salad instance, and certainly there wasn't any mention of toxic or anything else. You'd have to really stretch to fill up those ones. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But just for reference's sake, for anybody else, so I think that's where the bingo card is, guys. So keep that in your mind here. But just wanted to bring this up briefly as a bit of context. And no, none of this counts towards the bingo card, obviously. And you can find the same article linked in the video I have in the description. Schools Chancellor Richard Carranza accused of demoting admins because they were white. Whiteness has become toxic. Sorry, that doesn't count towards the bingo card. Toxic under schools Chancellor Richard Carranza's regime, insiders charge. At least 4 top Department of Education executives who have been demoted or stripped of duties under Carranza's sweeping reorganization are poised to sue the city, claiming he has created, quote, an environment which is hostile towards whites, unquote, a source told the Post. Well, that doesn't sound very inclusive. That doesn't sound very respectful and non-suppressant of all the people. The women, all white veteran administrators, contend they were pushed aside for less qualified persons of color. Quote, these decisions are being made because DOE leadership believes that skin color plays a role in how to get equity that white people can't convey the message, unquote, said a source familiar with the complaints. There's a toxic whiteness concept going on. I won't read the whole thing, but there you go. Yeah, so that's why I was curious to hear something directly from Richard Carranza, because aside from the article there and the peripheral stuff in the video that I did, I never actually heard him talk. Now that I have, I remain unimpressed. Even for a short TED presentation that told us very little and explained nothing. It all sounded like the kind of fluff that might get somebody to stand up and clap just to show off that they are a good person kind of thing. But yeah, that was probably one of the weakest TED talks I've seen, let alone a TED educator talk. You know, even the guy who was like the zealot principal in one of the previous TED Ed talks that I looked at least he had something to say. It was all crazy nonsense, but at least he had something to say. This really didn't say much, except that he really loves his brother. And he has a very focused attention on people and students, particularly on the basis of their sexual orientation, which kind of sounds creepy when you think about it. But anyway, guys, I know short and sweet one today. Didn't expect it to be that short, but there you go. There's going to be another TEDXcellence tomorrow, however. A special TEDXcellence tomorrow. That's Sunday, November 22nd. That will be me, joined by Chaos Eve, as we do a tandem TEDXcellence. What will it be about? Well, you have to tune in tomorrow and find out. The time is subject to change, so keep an eye on YouTube. Definitely keep an eye on Twitter for that. Yeah, should be fun. As such as TEDx is fun. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me for this, again, bite-size TEDXcellence. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all have a good rest of your Saturday. If you'd like to hear more from me or the Ranting Monkey or Satsu 2 Cents, you can find all three of us tonight on the Ranting Monkeys channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for The Lords of the Night, where we will talk about the news of the day, news stories that you submit, what we've been up to on the internet, and your questions and comments. That's what I meant to say. Everyone, thanks you again for joining me. Thank you so much for your participation and your argumentation. Thank you so much for your generosity, those of you who donated. Really do appreciate it. I am going to go. I don't know. What will I do with the rest of my Saturday? I guess I'll find out. Anyway, everyone, I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.